Okay, children, in this video we will be covering the topic magnetic force on a current carrying conductor. Now, in previous video, you might have seen that whenever a charge Q moves in magnetic field with velocity v in magnetic field B at an angle theta, it experiences a force given by this formula, right? And here we have a current carrying conductor. Inside a current carrying conductor, charges are already moving. That is current, rate of flow of charges. So these charges which are moving already, charges moving in magnetic field, will experience a force. So if all the charges are experiencing a force, that means the conductor is experiencing a force. For example, this is the setup. It was there in class 10th as well. Okay, so this is the conductor. This you can see this AB rod. It has been connected to a battery, so it becomes a current carrying conductor. This rod AB is a current carrying conductor. It has been placed in magnetic field. So as soon as you complete the circuit, it deflects. It shows deflection. It means some force is being experienced by it, and we have to find expression for that force on a current carrying conductor kept in magnetic field. So let us see. This steel color rod that we have taken, this conductor, let us specify its parameters, particulars. A for area of cross section, L for length of this piece of wire which is being placed in the magnetic field. Now we'll make use of the previous topic, force on a charge. One charge moving in magnetic field. Nobody will write a force on a charge kept in magnetic field. Not kept. It has to move. Moving in magnetic field is QVB sine theta. Force on all the charges which are present inside that particular rod which is kept in magnetic field, let it be N. And a force on one charge is this. Force on N charges. So you multiply with N. Okay, now we'll make use of number density which we talked about in current electricity when we were discussing the topic of drift velocity. So this is number density of free electrons. This can be written as number of free electrons by volume of wire. Number of free electrons by volume of wire. So number is N. This is small n. Number density. This is volume can be opened as area into length. So A into L will go this side. So number of electrons are ready as A into L. Okay, so I've written it again. Force on one charge is QVB sine theta. Force on N charges is N QVB sine theta. And the value of N is area into length into the small n, number density. So we'll substitute here A, L, Q, V, B. See, my N is left, so I'm keeping that also. Okay, now Q is electron. Inside a wire, who drifts when we apply field? Electrons. So charge is electron and velocity is drift velocity. So Q is E and velocity is drift velocity. Substitute E, VD. See, my N is also there. Okay. Now I have arranged it N, E, A, V, D. If you remember, this is I. That is how we do in chapter current electricity. What is the relation between current and drift velocity? And this is the relation I is equal to N, E, A, V, D. So this is I. So my expression for force is ready. This is the force experienced by a conductor of length L carrying current I in a magnetic field B when placed at an angle theta. Force experienced by a conductor of length L carrying current I placed in magnetic field B at an angle theta. Okay. In vector form, it can be written as magnitude into unit vector. So substitute magnitude I, L, B sine theta. Now I is scalar and it is A, B sine theta into unit vector. So this is A cross B. So this is in vector form. Whenever we know that cross product comes, so we can write this. This is perpendicular to first vector, perpendicular to second vector, to the plane of second cross third. Okay. Now the direction of this force, obviously whenever cross product is there, you can say it can be given by right hand thumb rule. One is right hand thumb rule. If curls, you can see here, if you can see properly, this is curls. Curls are pointing from this L to B. This is length. L to B. I to B you can say, or L to B you can say, then thumb is giving you direction of force. right hand thumb rule can always be used whenever you can see cross product. Okay, if curls of fingers are pointing out in the direction of A to B, for example, this is A and this is B, then thumb will give you direction of force. Otherwise, there is an exclusive rule for determination of magnetic force, which is called Fleming's left hand rule. So, coming to this topic, the previous topic was also important. This topic was important, quite important. And this topic is very important as well. Like very, very important. Force between two parallel wires. Current carrying wires, right? So let us see. So you can see this. These are two wires. Let me draw my own diagram. These are two wires. One is purple and one is red, carrying current I1 and I2. I need some other color. So yeah. Now what happens? First wire has got magnetic field around it, its own magnetic field. That means wire number 2 is kept in magnetic field of this. Just now we have seen when a current carrying wire is placed in magnetic field, it experiences a force by this. So second wire will feel a force due to first magnetic field and first wire will feel a magnetic force due to second magnetic field. So both will experience a force and we need to find out the expression for that force acting between two parallel wires. So let us begin. Let us begin like this. Force on wire 1 due to second's magnetic field. देखो, force on wire 1 due to this purple wala magnetic field. Why purple wire is having magnetic field? Because it is carrying current. Every current carrying wire has a magnetic field around it. So its magnetic field is exerting a force on this. Force on wire 1 due to second's field. So look, general formula is this that we have done ILB sine theta. I will be of self. Force on wire 1, so your own current, I1. Length common, length is same. B will come of other wire and theta. Sine theta as it is. So, now coming to this B2. B2 you pick up. What is B2? B2 is magnetic field of second wire. What is second wire? Second wire is straight wire. So we know the formula mu naught by 4 pi I by perpendicular distance sin pi 1 plus sin pi 2. Phi 1, phi 2, 90, sin 90 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. Mu naught by 4 pi is mu naught by 4 pi. Perpendicular distance let us take as L between these two wires. What is I? I will be of this. 2's current, so it is I2. So my B2 is also ready. See, I have written the formula once again. Achha, you have to talk about its direction. Whose direction? Second's magnetic field. Second's magnetic field where? Here, where first wire was there. So you keep your thumb here and bring your curls reach here. So it will come below the mobile. So it will come outward. So it is normally outward. B2 is normally outward. If you can comfortably use right hand thumb rule, please use. And it is normally outwards. So I'm ready with value of B2 and I'm ready with direction of B2. Talk about theta. Which theta? Here we have a theta. This is the angle between B2 and I1. Now B2 is normally outwards. And I1 is like this. This is I1. This is I1. And B2 is towards you, coming out of the mobile or computer. B2 is coming from here towards you, towards the roof. So what is the angle between this line and the line going towards roof? It's 90. So theta is 90. Sin 90 is 1. So see, I have written this again so that you can see. Force on wire 1 due to B2. Current yours, wire 1's current. Magnetic field of 2. Sin theta, theta is 90. We have just shown. And B2 is also ready by straight wire. How much is B2? Mu naught I2 2 pi A. Substitute here. So I am ready with the formula of this. And now L I am keeping it last here. So this is my force on 1 by 2. Okay, so now this is force Okay, now in next, I want to find out force per unit length. This small f is force per unit length. I'm dividing both sides by L, so L is cancelled from here. So this is the expression for force per unit length. This is half expression. Now I have to talk about its direction also, but we will do it at last. Okay, now this is half expression. Half part is still left. In that, you will talk about force on wire 2 due to 1. I am telling it in brief, otherwise you have to do it fully. Force on wire 2 due to wire 1. So force on 2, so current will be coming of 2, field will be of 1, rest as it is. Now what is B1? Same way, mu naught by 4 pi I1. Don't forget to put 1 by perpendicular distance sin 90 plus sin 90, it's 2. So expression of B1 is ready. Talk about the direction. For that you have to check what is first current. First current is like this. So bring your thumb here. Thumb like this and bring curls here. So you will say it is normally into the plane. If you know the rule, you will be able to apply. It is normally into. Okay, now what is the angle between B1 and I2? Where is I2? This is I2. And B1 is into the plane of paper, something which is going towards floor. है ना? So this line and a line going from here towards your floor. It's 90 degree. Sin 90 is 1. Substitute B1. Substituted. This is force on 2 by 1. Now force per unit length you can again find out. It will be force upon length. LL will be cancelled. So expression will be ready as mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi A. So that's all from both. We can see that the expression is same. Okay, now coming to the direction. Direction we have to apply of both the forces. Expression we have obtained. Both have yielded the same expression for force and for force per unit length also. L divided kar diya. This is the expression force per unit length. This is force expression in which L is there. Wherever you can leave, but direction is left. So let us talk about the directions properly. Sorry. Okay. All will look very, very carefully. See, this is I1. Right. So what is its field here? Keep your thumb. Bring your curls. So it is downward. Into. Into means cross. So put here cross. This is magnetic field of this. Yani ki B1. Important. Examiner will search B1. Okay, now this is I2. Second current. Keep your thumb here. Make your curls reach. So that will be outward. Right hand thumb. Right hand curls. So it is outward. So I put here dot. This is B2. It's its field. So B1, B2 is ready. One thing which examiner will check. Second thing will be of force. For force, you will be using Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, what I say, you will do that. Take your left hand. Okay, B2 is outward. Dot means outward. So your first finger is of field. Second finger is of current. And thumb is of force. So first finger should be towards roof. This is towards roof. Take it towards roof. Second finger should be along this arrow. Keep it like this second finger. First finger towards roof of the left hand. Second finger along this. Just listen and do what I am saying with the left hand. You will be able to do. First finger of the left hand towards the roof. Ye B2. Magnetic field. Second finger towards this. Where is your thumb? Thumb is this. This is force. Force on first wire due to second. If you have got, you have understood the rule. Otherwise, you need to practice more. Similarly, you will have to find out the direction of F21. Let us do that. Okay. This is magnetic field. ठीक है? तो ये हो गया cross. Cross means towards the floor. First finger towards the floor of left hand. first finger is of field towards the floor, second finger along this, second finger along this, first finger towards the floor. Where is the thumb? Thumb is here. See, I can do it. So this is my force on second wire due to 1. So both the forces are towards each other. They are equal in magnitude and are towards each other. So both the wires are attracting each other. This is the result. When two wires are carrying current in same direction and are held parallel to each other, they attract with this force. Attraction we have proved using direction. Okay? So when they carry current in the same direction, they attract. Let us see if it is visible. So you can see in this, there are two parallel wires. See, they are repelling, attracting, repelling. So when he is changing the directions, so you can see here, I am trying to derive the expression again. When the wires carry current in opposite direction. Okay, so it is same, force on 1 by 2, derivation is ditto same. Current of self, length common, B2, force on 1 by 2, so it is B2, sin theta. B2 is open like this, mu naught by 4 pi over perpendicular distance. I will be of I2. Sin 90, this came as this, 2 and 4 will be cancelled. So my B2 is ready. I can substitute here. Substitute. F12 is equal to I1 L mu naught by 2 pi A and I2. So F12 is ready. So similarly, force per unit length will also be ready. L will be hidden this time. Okay, you'll have to talk about directions now. See here, sin theta will be there. This theta will remain because you have substituted I and then L, then B2. This is B2. Sin theta will also be written. Now you have to talk about the direction of B2. For direction of B2, you have to go to this, I2. Keep your thumb along this, right hand thumb, and make it reach here. Make the curls reach here of right hand. So when you will see, that it will go into the plane of paper. So it is inwards, towards the floor, inwards. So B2 is inwards, right? And I1 is as shown, this is I1. So theta is 90. Anyways, theta is going to be 90. Sin 90 is 1. So it is sorted. Now what about the direction? F12. What about the direction? So we'll come here once again. We know it is inwards. So please put a cross here. Whose cross is this? This is B2. B2 is towards floor. So first finger towards floor of left hand. Current is this arrow. So please everyone do this. Current. Second finger should be along this arrow. First finger should be towards the roof. So where is your force coming? Your force will come like this. This is the direction of force. Force on 1 by 2. Okay? And when you will do the rest half, derivation will remain as it is with whatever changes. Okay? And direction will come like this. Force on 2 by 1. So they will repel. You can see the forces are directed away from each other. So if they carry current in opposite direction, they will repel each other. When they carry current in same direction, they attract each other. Do this very nicely. Okay, one case will come in exam, either of carrying current in same direction or opposite. Okay. So derivation will consist of two halves, F12 and F21. Okay, now there is an important topic. Okay, before that we have some diagrams. You can see here. Here when current is being flown in same directions, so you can see they are attracting each other. Kindly observe these forces. If visible, these forces. They are attracting each other. So here the distance is getting reduced. Okay? And when they carry current in opposite direction, observe these arrows. Forces are away from each other. So they are repelling. This is experimental evidence. We don't need to write it. Okay. Now you can see there is an important topic, very small but very important. They usually ask us to define 1 ampere. Otherwise, no, 1 ampere is when 1 coulomb of charge flows through a wire in 1 second, then the current is 1 ampere. But we are supposed to derive 1 ampere using this force between two parallel wires. So everyone knows the small f is force per unit length. When we divided force by length, then it came. Otherwise, the formula of force F12 or F21 is this: mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi A into L. And when we divide by L, then this becomes. So L is hidden in this. How to define? Let us take current as 1 ampere. Let us take distance as 1 meter. Separation between them. Okay, mu naught's value is this 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. I have substituted mu naught's value. I1, I2 is 1 ampere, 1 and 1. Distance is 1. This is 2. Okay, it is 2 pi and this is 4 pi. Pi cancel, 2 cancel. So force came as this. Look at the units because it is force per unit length. What are we trying to do? We are trying to define 1 ampere. So 1 ampere is that amount of current which when flown through two parallel wires which are kept 1 meter apart, 1 ampere is that amount of current which when flown through two parallel wires which are kept 1 meter apart makes them experience and exert a force of this much Newton per meter, either of repulsion or of attraction depending upon the direction of current. You can read this as well. Is that value of current which on flowing in each of the two parallel infinitely long conductors 1 meter apart produces a force of this much Newton per meter. So you can learn it simply that 1 ampere is that amount of current which when flown through both the wires which are held parallel 1 meter apart makes them exert or makes them experience a force of this much 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter. That's all. This is important. Okay, then we have small topic. What is Lorentz force? See, we know electrostatic force is given by this whenever a charge is placed in electric field. And when it is moving, not placed, moving in magnetic field, then this magnetic force. Whenever both the forces are applied, both the fields are applied, then net force will be this vector sum QE plus QV cross B. This is called Lorentz force. The total force experienced by a charged particle moving in a region where both electric and magnetic fields are present is called Lorentz force. So this is one thing. Then we have a topic called velocity selector. We call it Wien's filter as well. Okay, but velocity selector is more famous name. It is a device in which both the fields are there, electrostatic field and magnetic field. Both the fields are perpendicular to each. It's an arrangement where both the fields are there and it is used to select charges with certain velocity. It's a device in which there is an arrangement for crossed means perpendicular, crossed magnetic and crossed electric field which is used to select charges with specific speeds. That's all. Okay. So, which charges are being selected? Okay. So, which charges are being selected? Let us see. See, this is velocity selectors diagram. Both the fields are there. If you can observe, these are two plates. This is having negative charge. This is having positive charge. So, it means electric field is there. Negative charge, positive charge. Charges are coming. Now, if the charge is positive or negative, they will be attracted accordingly. If positive, it will be attracted toward this. If negative, it will be attracted toward this. Okay. So electrostatic force will be exerted and will be experienced by the charge. Now magnetic field is also applied. You can see here it is written B and there is dot. Dot means the magnetic field is towards you, towards your eyes or towards the roof. So magnetic field is like that and electric field is from positive to negative. You can see blue color arrow. Magnetic field is towards you. So many arrows towards you, towards your eyes or towards roof. Okay. So the charge will experience both the force. In case the forces are electrostatic force and magnetic forces are equal and opposite, you adjust the values in such a way that they are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. In that case, if the charge is experiencing electrostatic force and magnetic force equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, the net force will be 0. So the charge will go undeflected and those velocities are selected. Rest will move to either towards one side or to the other side, whichever is dominant. So these velocities, the charges with these velocities will be passed undeflected, so selected. So for that, what is the essential condition? That the electrostatic force experienced by the charge and magnetic force experienced by the charge must be equal and opposite. So it is QE and this is QVB. Sign is obviously 90. So QQ cancel. Velocity is equal to E by V. So these velocities will be found straight. Okay, they'll go undeflected. So this is the concept of velocity selector. Then we have two small topics. Conversion of galvanometer into ammeter. Let's do this. Conversion of galvanometer to ammeter. Talk about ammeter. What is ammeter? Ammeter is a device that measures current. It is always connected in series, all 10th class things, with the equipment through which you need to measure the current. Ammeter is always connected in series with the equipment through which you need to measure the current. Resistance of an ideal ammeter is 0. It's low, as low as possible. So that is the key. We'll have to reduce the resistance to convert a galvanometer into ammeter. Because resistance of ideal ammeter is 0. So we have to reduce the resistance of galvanometer to convert it into ammeter. So a galvanometer can be converted into an ammeter by lowering its resistance. How to lower? By connecting some resistance in parallel. We have to lower its resistance, which can be achieved by connecting a low resistance in parallel to the galvanometer, because in parallel net resistance is lower than the least. Suppose it is 1, it is 2. So the net resistance will be lesser than the least. Okay? So because ideal, this line is important, because resistance of an ideal ammeter is 0. So galvanometer can be changed into an ammeter by lowering its resistance. How to lower your resistance? You can connect a very low resistance in your parallel, and that low resistance is called shunt resistance. Special name is there. So by connecting a shunt resistance to its parallel. So you can see here, this is a galvanometer. It can be changed into ammeter. Now this is an ammeter. If you connect a very low resistance in your parallel. So this galvanometer has connected a very low resistance in parallel. So this arrangement has become now ammeter. Okay? Now there are certain notations that we will see. This is also the diagram. Here I have connected shunt in parallel like this. So in my diagram I've drawn it like lower and here it is above. So it's okay. Parallel is parallel. Okay. Now this is galvanometer. Because we have connected shunt across it. So now this arrangement, this yellow box is now ammeter. So because both are in parallel, this galvanometer is in parallel with S, so voltage will be equal. Voltage across galvanometer will be equal to voltage across shunt. Yes. So how to write voltage current into resistance? So current, IG current is flowing through this galvanometer. IG current is going through galvanometer. Galvanometer resistance is G. So current into resistance is voltage across galvanometer. Upper current is I minus IG, net current is I. So you know division. Upper current in the upper arm is I minus IG and resistance is S. So we can find out S from here. This is shunt resistance. So what is the net resistance? Shunt resistance you have already found. Galvanometer resistance is G. So you can find out the net resistance in parallel. So that will be the net resistance of new ammeter which is formed. Okay, we need to know about the symbols that we have used. See, concept is very simple. A galvanometer can be converted into ammeter when you connect a shunt in parallel to it. Okay, let us look at the symbols and we'll have to know what are the meanings of the symbol. This is I current. IG current will go through galvanometer and remaining current will go through this I minus IG. Okay, voltage across shunt will be equal to voltage across galvanometer. This is simple thing. Current through shunt is this and this is resistance. Current through galvanometer is this and this is resistance. Of the galvanometer, S can be found and that net resistance. This is something very easy. Now what is to be told is what are these symbols? What is IG? Full scale deflection current of galvanometer. Galvanometer can read up to this. This is IG. What is G? Resistance of galvanometer. S, shunt resistance. I, net current. Okay, so how to learn it, how to say it? Listen. A galvanometer of resistance G ohm could measure up to this IG current. Okay, that was the last value of current. Now it can measure up to I. A galvanometer of G ohm could measure up to 4 ampere or 3 ampere, IG ampere. Now can measure up to I if we connect S, a low resistance across it. This is how you have to learn in a sentence. Okay? That will be the relation between these things and this is how we understand. A galvanometer of G ohm resistance could measure up to current IG. Now it can measure up to I current by having a low resistance S in parallel to it, which is shunt resistance. Now we have galvanometer to voltmeter. Then talk about voltmeter. What is voltmeter? Voltmeter is a device which is used to measure voltage, potential difference. It is connected in parallel. Its resistance should be as high as possible. Ideal, it should be very high. So how can you make a galvanometer change into voltmeter? By connecting a very high resistance in series. So this is a galvanometer. This is a galvanometer. It can be changed into, now this is a voltmeter. You can change into voltmeter by connecting a high resistance in series to it. So you can see here also, this is galvanometer, this is high resistance. Okay, now what current will go through galvanometer? That is always IG, full scale deflection current. So it will only go through this because they both are in series. Okay, suppose we have to measure V volt. So this V will be sum of voltage across this and voltage across this. Again, listen, this is the galvanometer. We will connect a high resistance. Now it becomes a voltmeter. So this voltmeter is measuring up to V volt. So V will be sum of voltage across this and voltage across this. So V is sum of voltage across galvanometer and voltage across high resistance. How much current is going through galvanometer? You can see in the diagram. Look here. IG. So current is IG. Resistance plus second current through high resistance. So that is also IG. Resistance is R. So find out R. That is the job. So this much R resistance needs to be connected in series with the galvanometer, whose resistance is G ohm, whose full scale deflection current is this, up to measure. Now it can measure up to V volt. Okay? So new resistance is, this is G, this is R. A value of R is ready with you. You can substitute here. This is new resistance of the voltmeter. So a galvanometer can be converted into ammeter by connecting a low resistance in parallel to it. And it can be converted into voltmeter by connecting a high resistance in series to it. Kindly prepare these topics.